Before we begin, a quick heads up. This episode may contain some strong language, mature themes, and conversations about many difficult topics. We like to keep it real around here, so listener discretion is advised. But thank you for listening. Now, on to our show. Welcome to the Sip and Saga Society, a podcast that covers histories, mysteries, and just any story worth telling. Welcome to part 4 of our deep dive on Haitian history. Yes, this is part 4, so hopefully if you have listened to parts 1, 2, and 3, that's what brought you here. If you haven't listened to those parts, context is always really good, but Papa Doc just died in part 3, and now it is the ruling of Papa Doc Jr., aka something else that I don't remember. But let's find out together. Now on to part 4.
The Haitians had this beautiful brief thought that this would be their opportunity for change. How long could a 19-year-old last in power anyway? Woof,
19, Randy. 19. They
woof,
live
guys.
forever.
Yeah.
He's got a
Uh,
good 60 years at least,
Minimum. That's a
Like,
long time. 19, you're
yeah.
fresh.
yeah, but they're thinking he's stupid. He's gonna get
No,
ousted.
he was
Somebody's gonna
raised by
throw a
a
coup.
dictator father.
Well, and his
No.
father did a very good job of ensuring that that absolutely excruciatingly painful transition for the Haitian people would in fact happen. So soon to the horror of the people, but certainly not to the US government, who had helped negotiate this transfer of power. That's right, people. As a part of a deal negotiated between the Nixon administration, which is, I'm going to asterisk this because one of the things that I find most irritating about this history as we go through is that there are presidents on this list that I both despise and I thought that I didn't hate so much that have screwed over Haiti. You know, like I go through this and I'm like, wait a second, I didn't know that that president was fucking around in Haiti. Don't remember that being a part of what their legacy was. Just another example. So the Nixon administration had made this negotiation with the Duvaliers, with both of them, that the U.S. would support their Duvalier dynasty as long as Jean-Claude would make promises to the U.S., certain promises. So he had to support this new economic program that was guided by the U.S., and it featured private investments from the US that would be drawn to Haiti with incentives. So think things like no customs taxes or a minimum wage kept very low or
Like
the
we'll cut your deal on tariffs or something like that,
mhm,
you know?
the suppression of labor unions. And then they also wanted him to say that the American companies had a right to repatriate their profits. So
But
what was
Randy, what does that mean?
basically that their
Yeah.
money was theirs and they repatriated it to their country. They brought it back. American money was American money, girlfriends, and it was our right to take what we were owed from the Haitian lands or people or whatever.
People just sit around and think of creative ideas on how to fuck over Haiti for their own profit on a regular basis.
Yes, that is what was happening at this time. And Baby Duvalier was really excited to help. His next step, he hired a Madison Avenue PR firm, a couple of them, to clean up his image. The US needed him secure in order to continue the exploitation of that country and their people, so they assisted in securing those firms and cleaning up Baby Doc, because we're no longer with Papa Doc, we're at Baby Doc's image.
Mm. What
So,
was he doing that we needed to clean up his image?
Yeah, because he's only 19, right?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, but
what?
he had participated with his dad on a lot of these acts. Like his
So
dad
people
was
knew
grooming
he
him.
was trash,
Yeah.
and they were like, we need to make him more appealing to the general
Well,
population.
people knew he was trash, and then he made all of these agreements,
Trash
right?
agreements, Randy?
Trash agreements. So he needed PR for both himself in Haiti, and they needed a little bit of PR for Haiti in the United States,
Mm.
right? Just, to like smooth everything out, smooth it all out. That vision was taking shape in the boom of the assembly industry, right? So this is where the US enters in and starts skirting labor laws by exploiting another country's workforce instead, right? So we can't use children, we can't use blah blah blah, we can't have long hours, we have to pay a minimum wage. We will just set up shop somewhere else, which by the way, people is often what they do when they say they are sending or manufacturing out of this country, right? The labor was cheap. So Duvalier's Haiti offered enormous benefits to encourage that usage still, right? So other than cheap labor, which was, by the way, hella cheaper than the US and even cheaper than a majority of what was happening in the majority of South America. So it was closer than Hong Kong, and it was under a dictatorship of a man that was so firmly entrenched in US support that the companies knew that if something were to happen, they would be compensated by Haiti by means of the United States, right?
And I wonder
Uh,
how much money was going into the programs to back up these policies that would make more money in the long run for these companies. Do you know what I
I
mean?
yeah, I
Like,
do know, and I
who
don't
is
want to
who
know.
is behind our desire to get nosy in Haiti and install these people? Who is making these policies and who is giving money to the politicians making these policies?
Well, so let me tell you what the assembly industry really was. Okay, so first, let me give you this like little tidbit is what I meant to say. I've clearly been watching too much Harry Potter. So according to the CIA, the misery of the Haitian people came with benefits, and this is a quote from those declassified documents. Okay. To some extent, the incredibly low standard of living and the backwardness of the Haitian masses work against communist exploitation, in that most Haitians are so completely downtrodden as to be politically inert.
Like they're so oppressed that like they're not going to do anything. Like
Yep,
we've
and
we've
this was
hit
good.
maximum
Yep,
oppression.
and this is good because it keeps the communism out of the people. Yep.
It keeps the resistance out of the people.
hmm Which led to Haiti becoming the world's ninth largest assembler of goods. So remember, assembly industry, what does that mean exactly? So assembly industry means that pieces of things are made in places and then sent to Haiti and assembled and then imported into the United States or exported out of Haiti and imported by the United States. Okay. So Haiti is getting things and they specialized in making baseballs. So like they would get the leather and the string and whatever the hell's inside of a baseball and they would sew that shit up. Okay. They would stuff toys. They would make dolls. They would put together apparel. They would be sewing. By 1980, there were around 200 assembly factories employing over 60,000 people, the majority of whom were women in really poor conditions, and about a quarter of Port-au-Prince, the main city there. All of this assembly bullshit did not benefit the country's economy, and they continue to amass debts, right? So we had talked a little bit about the really, really awful things that the French did in terms of asking them to pay Haiti back for essentially them breaking out of oppression, the French were mad, and so they made Haiti indebted. This is for Christina. So they've been in debt for so long, right? That debt just continued to bump up, bump up, bump up. And in those 10 years, it went up to 366 million by 1980. Add
Wow.
to, yeah, that's a great question. It's because the government was corrupt and they were taking the money from the US. They
Well,
were just,
I
go
have a
ahead.
random question because it's like this is like a vague memory I have as like a kid seeing something about Papa Doc. But like you know how like it's weird because like certain dictators are like really into capitalist things. Like Kim Jong is whoever the second one is, right? Is it Kim Jong
Kim
Il?
Jong-il.
Il? I
It
think is the
must be
second one.
ill if we are both
Wasn't he
thinking
like
it's
he was
ill.
really into Disney movies, right? Like that he was obsessed with Disney for some reason, even though like
Love.
that's like
Disney
like
transcends, I
epitome
guess.
of like capitalism. I feel like Papa Doc was like really into shoes, like Jordans and shit like that. And I
If
could be
he was, it was
misremembering
not in
this.
the book.
Okay.
But I will have to look that up because I kind of love that thought that he was just a sneakerhead.
Randy. I could see it.
I think it was Baby Doc, like specifically Baby Doc.
That was part of the image change.
To make him look more,
Yeah.
relatable.
No, they
The
they
people
needed
love
him to leave
shoes.
his young ways behind. They were
No.
like, you've got to move from the sneakers to the loafers, my man.
Right.
So by 1980, like I said, it was 366 million. On top of that, the absolute devastation that the country had resulted in after a century of hard plantation, what that did to the soil was absolutely atrocious, right? They had not done any of the things to reintroduce their nitrogen, their other necessary things for growing. The soil was completely depleted. The country couldn't grow enough food to support the people, let alone exporting food out. Unsurprisingly, the Haitian people were suffering immensely. And by the thresholds of that time, which I don't know exactly what those were, but by the thresholds of that time, the percentage of people that were considered in the category of absolute poverty in Haiti was just over 75%. That means somewhere around today's equivalent, well, not today's equivalent, sorry. I need to clarify this because of when this book was written. When this book was written, it was in 1993. So a 1993 equivalent was less than 146 USD per year, which I'm going to be honest, $140 in 1993, not a lot. I mean, it would be a good grocery haul, but that was less than that was your yearly income.
Yearly.
Yearly income.
Randy.
Hmm.
Mm-mm.
And remember, the CIA liked it like this. They thought this
That's
was
why they
good.
They're
keep,
like, well, they're not going to be communists, so
if you keep them poor, they don't have time to think. They don't have time to do nothing.
Yeah, because they're stressed.
Yeah, because they're trying to feed their kids.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, add to that the fact that political dissent at this time by Baby Doc was absolutely forbidden.
Of course.
The
yeah.
Makutes
Can't have
and the
anybody like
army,
raining on your parade, you know?
well,
My dad gave me this country,
it would
Greg.
really make me feel
Yeah,
bad
like
about
it's
being a
mine. It was a
dictator.
birthday present, you know.
He just
Sorry,
had to
Randy.
die. He just had to die. I will say there's no speculation that um, that was murder, but I think it's really rather suspicious that he did that, and then the very next year he dies. I'm just saying,
His son's like,
throw,
well, I'm good.
throwing that out there.
We cleared that up.
Although most Nepo babies that I know aren't always ready to take the reins. They're like really good staying in the shadows. Not like the King Charles version, but Anyway, fucking Britain's catching stray bullets tonight. Okay. So political dissent at that time was forbidden. The Makutes were like the militant band at the time. So that's under what they were called under, remember they had like the Tauntauns Macoutes under Papa Doc. Now they were just shortened to the Macoutes under Baby Doc. They and the army arrested, extorted, and tortured, sometimes killing, anyone who was suspected of opposing the Duvalier regime. So the Haitian refugees continued to flee the country, right? Specifically, they fled to America, where I'm sure you can guess they did not receive a warm welcome from the Immigration and Naturalization Service, who vilified and trivialized their plight. It's estimated that by 1990, there were between 700,000 and 1.5 million Haitians living outside of their country. And if you remember, a complete countrywide vote of yes to Papa Doc's piece of President for Life was 2.4 million. 2.4. So now by 1990, somewhere between 700,000 and 1.5 million of those Haitians. Now, give or take, that 2.4 probably grew, but that's still, we're talking about half of the country is fleeing as refugees.
That's crazy.
Just if you're paying attention to the numbers I'm throwing in. As dissent arose, protests were primarily in response to specific events such as police brutality against pregnant women or school children. Baby Doc pulled a page from the US playbook and held yet another sham of a vote in 1984. And I did not write these in my notes, but I'm going to do another little aside here because I told you guys I was going to talk about Iran. And since we're talking about another sham vote that happens so often in Haiti, right? This like ideal of democracy. I don't know if any one of you guys watched the hearings, the Senate hearings for Marco Rubio on Iran a couple of weeks ago, but there was a senator. I think she was from Florida, but don't quote me on that. If I saw a picture of her, I could tell you that it was her, but I don't remember which state she was from exactly. I do know it was red, and I do know that it was Southern. And
That's fair.
she was talking to Rubio. You know, if you've watched the Senate hearings before, it's very, very bipartisan. So, like, the people who are on his side are very clearly on his side, right? And she is talking to him, and she is talking about how the who was it that died in Iran, their supreme leader? We killed they Someone got killed.
Ayatollah
I
Khomeini.
Ayatollah. I was like, I
Yeah.
know that that's who it was. I just didn't want to say it and be wrong.
Yeah. I
So,
mean, I think that's the title, so I don't know
right,
like
yes.
what their name is, but it was the Ayatollah Khomeini.
Okay. I was going to say that. Thank you so much, Greg. I feel so validated right now. Okay.
Yeah.
So the Ayatollah is dead, right? They had the funerals also like last week, I want to say, because that was all over the news. But the senator during this hearing is talking and is saying to Marco Rubio, I just think we need to get democracy into Iran. I really think we need to give the power to the people, and we, the United States, needs to sponsor a democratic vote for the people of Iran. And Marco Rubio's like, yeah, that's what we need to do. We need to go in there and we need to give them democracy, blah, blah, blah. Now, the minute they started having this conversation, all I could think about was this book and how many of these foreign incursions have led to these sham, and I'm air quoting because you guys can't see me who are
Mhm.
listening, but these sham democratic elections where we are imparting this beautiful ideal of democracy in the most fascist way possible, right? Like, since we're using that word today, like in the most coercive way possible, we are ensuring what we want by calling it something else, right? It's just, I am really concerned, not that I wasn't already concerned about everything that's going on in Iran. But if we are going to be trying to do something like that, which we have done in many other countries in South America, and I am sure we will do as the United States many other times if we don't fall before that such time as that. But I I just I am I was very worried because it felt like they were talking in code. I don't know. Maybe you guys wouldn't have felt the same way, but I felt like I was watching two people have a conversation that most of the country wouldn't have understood. But having read all about this history, I was like, oh my God, does no one realize what they're saying?
Well, I mean, just looking at the Epstein files and reading through obscenely too many of those because my feed was bombarded by them. That is what these people do, is they just talk about the big thing that only they know about because only they have the money to be involved in it.
But they
Because they're
talk about it in
right,
such
they talk about
flowery
it
language.
in public in this flowery language to be like, ha, I know all this stuff and the peasants don't know anything.
Because it's not flowery language that's new. Like it's not like you're
No,
cracking. It's not like I cracked a code, okay, guys? It's not like I'm
there's no
smarter than
secrets here.
anyone else.
Yeah. Right,
It's
but you're
just that
able to recognize the
I just
patterns,
read.
Randy. Yeah, but in order to see that pattern again, you would have had to see it before. And if nobody's ever
Right.
looked at it, you're never going to recognize it when you see it again.
Yep. So Baby Doc had a sham of a vote in 1984, and he did this to reinforce his dictatorship. His right hand, who has a beautiful twist of fate, was compared by his Haitian countrymen to Mengele. Filled,
From
yep,
like the German.
yes.
Okay,
I probably said that wrong, but that's how I say it
I
when
think
I
it's
read his name.
Mengele.
Mengele.
I've heard people pronounce it both Mengele, 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 Mengele.
But
It,
also, like, he's the dude, the Nazi fuck doing
Yeah,
experiments on
yes.
people and shit. Angel of
Yes.
death.
yeah,
Like,
he's
for
not
Yes.
great.
context, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So this baby Doc's right hand filled the prisons. He ramped up Haitian disappearances, and he exiled at will, which created obviously even more refugees. Enough would soon be enough, though. National outrage swelled over the shooting and bayoneting. So, one thing I will say, Haitians do not mess around when it comes to their children. There was an incident where three school boys were shot and bayoneted, and then they were buried in unmarked graves by the Macuntes. Uh, so the countries couldn't rally at their funerals. That was like the whole point. That it backfired. It absolutely backfired. So uprisings spread throughout the cities, and a man by the name of Father Aristide was overseeing urban resistance. Baby Doc was incensed. He was outraged. But the students and the parents were joined soon by the business sector, right? So these were two really big sectors. And the protests were, according to the Haitian government, getting out of hand. Baby Doc declared a state of siege, which suspended all constitutional rights, because why not? And he sent the Mukutes out to wage violence on the people. The country was gearing up for a war. They were really ready for it, right? Both sides. Honestly, I think both sides were really ready for the civil war that was going to break out. But the US wasn't feeling it. Okay. They were like, we can't be having war right now. This is not in the interest of our companies. So, in order to get their man back in line, they threatened the reduction of aid from 56 to 49 million, just a small deduction, and stated that they wouldn't help Haiti a great deal. They couldn't continue because it went against the American principles and views, that he was behaving in such a manner that was un-American. Baby Duvalier took his American washed wealth, his family. He hopped on a cargo plane in February of 1986 and he said, Bon voyage, Haiti.
He dipped out.
He just dipped.
Oh my
He's
Straight
just
gosh.
dipped
like,
out.
well, time to go.
Yeah, he said, I've had
This
enough,
is not
guys.
for me. But
Yeah.
he did go to America. And all of this happened during the Reagan administration.
Oh Lord.
Of course it did.
Once again, the people celebrated. The Haitian people were like, here we go.
Freedom.
Practically the entire country was in the process of wiping the Duvaliers' influence from their everyday life. The Haitian flag was restored. The Makutes were persecuted and killed. One thing you guys should know about me, I do love a good bit of vigilantism. The Christopher Columbus statue was dumped, literally dumped.
Oh, I read there's a bit in the book that I remember reading about, like where they talk about that actually.
Do they? I
Yeah.
was I was really irritated that it was reinstated. I was really irritated to read that it was even there. And the town squares that had all been named for like, you know, oppressors were renamed for resistance leaders. Who was the next to take over though? What were they going to do? The next person to take leadership ended up taking the country right back into military rule. What was the problem though? What did I remember? What did I tell you guys at the beginning? What do you need to remember about the military? They're a
They're
militant
trash
band.
and owned by the United States.
And the Duvaliers.
Oh,
They
so
had been
they still
they
have
had
their
been
hands in this pot.
they
Okay.
had been completely replaced by all of Duvalier's picks, which does, I mean, you're not wrong. It did mean that the United States was still very much involved in those military generals, the
Yeah.
CIA, the FBI, USAID. They all were all up in that groups. But throughout the 30 years of dictatorship, every single major role had been appointed by one of these two Duvaliers. So any military leader who took over would then give the exact same leadership that had already pinned the people down for those 30 years. And that is exactly what happened. Leslie Manajat led to General Namfi, who led to Prosper Avril. The foreign press was all up in Haiti's business, and it was to the benefit of the US to create stories that cast them in the best light. And when I say them, I don't mean the US, I mean these new military dictators who were taking over in Haiti. Okay. As early as 1986, the New York Times was spinning the story of the new military dictator and the state of affairs in Haiti. None of it was right, but to an uneducated American audience, they ate it right up, guys. A Haitian anthropologist noted of the time, by the end of its first year in office, the Council National des Governments, generously helped by the U.S. taxpayers' money, had openly gunned down more civilians than Jean-Claude Duvalier's government had done in 15 years. Yeah, so the U.S. had just ushered in, because the Duvaliers weren't strictly military, right? They may have sided with the military, they may have led that way, but they were very much like pomp and circumstance is like they hurt people, they had death squads, they did all of that, but they did it for money and power. A lot of the military pieces that we're talking about did it for money, but they did it for control and power, right? And any resistance was going to be met with bloodshed. Despite the amazing resilience of the people in establishing a new constitution in 1987 that sought to limit this kind of activity and the power of Duvalierists, as they are called, Nancy made sure to have total control over every single new process of checks and balances. When the people protested, they were met with open machine guns firing into the crowds of demonstrators.
That's fucked.
That is
Where did
incredibly fucked.
it it's awful. And how did the US factor into this? How did we show up there? That's right, we just provided all the gear and the tear gas and the weapons and the ammunition, and we gave it to the dictator in order to quell the people.
Of course. See, the US would be like the opposite of this, like the Scooby-Doo gang. You know what I mean? Like, oh, things could have been great if it weren't for those meddling kids. Like, damn, y'all.
The US are the meddlers, Christina.
Yeah,
We do be
yeah.
meddling.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm kind of like
So
staring off and imagining some of this stuff, and it's just like fucking me
Yeah.
up a little bit, you know?
It's hard. Yeah.
yeah, I do know, guys. I do know. Because it seems like the more bloody Haiti became, the more that the US invested in it, the more that we were like, we need that, we need to go there. It's estimated that in the 18 months after 1986, Haiti received over 200 million in US aid. The everyday Haitian was left with absolutely no hope in America doing the right thing because that aid did not go to the people. Again, it's the same thing. It went to the military, it went to the dictator. And so Haitians had no hope in America doing the right thing. If anything, they wanted the US to just leave them alone and they would take care of the people that were there. So here we're going to enter in once again Father Aristide, the vigilant reformist, and his sermon on Easter of 1985 included this. Today we can say that a Christian who wishes to grow in holiness must ask that the land be redistributed. He must ask that the big landholders give land to the poor and that the poor work that land and make it fruitful. He had begun a radio broadcasting program where he would share his views on the military, the country, and the affairs of the people. And the poor began to see him as this like mystically protected man due to him dodging more than one assassination attempt. In all honesty, I wish I would have counted while I was reading this book because I read at least of 4 assassination attempts in this book of this man that don't work on him. Like he just continues to bounce back. Even if he's injured, he just bounces back. In 1987, a large struggle over that land came to a head, and hundreds of peasants were killed by thugs hired by the landowners, who then boasted on their kill counts of communists. Aristide led the revolts that happened after that. Namfi, the current general president, was irate and attempted to silence him by having his parish moved. Father Aristide. He had like a really large following of students and he had a large support in both the city and the rural areas. They took up, the students themselves, though, took up a massive hunger strike. And I mean, thousands of them were refusing to eat. And they were setting up shop around a massive altar dedicated to the Father. They finally won that battle, and Aristide was allowed to stay. But 3 more assassination attempts would happen in the next few months. And that's where I'll leave you. Because by this point, there are bodies in the streets, there are people in revolt, there is a string of very poor presidents that I'm about to talk about, and a whole hefty dose of US reality about to happen.
There's always more, Randy.
And to think that there's a part 3 that I started writing.
There's more.
Let me see. Where
I
are we?
just really hate that like we're on the bad side of things because you know how like people always like everyone tries to make America seem like the good guys, right? Like, oh, tragedy happens, America's sending the Red Cross and all this stuff, and here we are providing tear gas and gear.
But but also
Well,
like
but
if you just look at it as like, okay, like we gave them money, right? So we're the good guys. And if you leave the story at that and don't look at like what happened in Haiti, then like it's easy to do that, right? Like, you can be like, oh, well, if I don't, like, who cares about Haiti? We gave them money, so like obviously we're the good guys because we were fighting communism. Like, it's so
Yeah.
easy to just like glaze over what actually happened.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, especially when you don't want
But
to see it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I also think though that America is not that great to people outside of America.
Yeah.
We're not that
They
great
don't
to
like
people
us.
inside of America. We're not good
I
to
That's
I
also
all
know.
fair.
people.
I know, but like if I were to tell people about this, like if I were to like, pick friends and like I know that my international friends would have a way easier time swallowing that pill of US aggression than people I know from the United States.
Yeah, but it's because they can actually see it. We are censored in what we can see.
Propaganda.
Yeah, the propaganda gets us all. Well, does anybody have any extra thoughts before we go
I
to
mean,
think
I'm
about
glad
Haiti?
I'm glad we ended on a cliffhanger, but I had a different cliffhanger for us to end on.
There's
A
always more, Randy.
juicier one about a coup. Fine, I'll save it.
Randy just loves the drama.
I really fucking do. I really do. That's what keeps me going and reading these stories. Is like, can it get? Honestly, I think what it is about this one, and I know I'm rambling, so you can shut me up at any time. But like, I think what keeps me going about this one is kind of like when I start. Not that I can watch it right now, but when I watched The Handmaid's Tale, I was so glued to it because I was like, wait, but what happens next? Because I felt like I was watching something that could possibly be true. And I feel like reading this book, I was like, but wait, what happens next? Because I feel like so much of this playbook and so much of what they're doing is like being done right now by this administration. And I'm like, wait, what are the consequences of this? I need to see farther down the road, is kind of how I feel.
I
This
think
is going to
that's
help
totally
us.
fair.
Yeah, this is going to help us in the future. Yeah.
Because I literally called everyone I knew, like in my family and stuff, to talk to them about that Marco Rubio hearing because I was so floored by the parallels. I know I shouldn't have been, but I was like so incredibly floored by the parallels there.
Mm. I
Okay, I'm
want more
sorry, I'm
details,
done.
Randy, but
Again,
not
I
right
was
now.
like, I'm
Yes,
done
okay.
talking, but I do want to hear. Are there any other comments? I'm sorry. Please provide.
No, I thought it was really good. Like it's like there's little bits that I know. Like I know the name Duvalier, and I'm like I know like it's kind of like in terms of like the stuff I know and I don't know. Like I know a lot about like a really specific time period and place and stuff like that. It's like I know I'm just like dictator bad, Haiti's been fucked. Like that's kind of like
No,
I know
that's
a little bit
yeah,
more
that's
about the
accurate.
revolutionary part of that. But then that's kind of like I know that happens, but that's it. So that fills in like a lot for me.
I'm not surprised, but I'm disappointed
Yeah.
in the country. Well, Randy, thank you for helping us be further disappointed in the what this government has done.
I am so glad I could provide that.
It's a gift, truly. And thank you, our listener, for listening and joining in and getting this far with us. If you are one of the nine that has started with us from the beginning, thank you. Or if you just found us today, we thank you too. We're so grateful for everyone listening in with us, and we love to do this. So if you would like to support us and our historical endeavors, uh, please share our website, share our show, or just tell a friend or tell us. Send us a comment. Give us some feedback or let us know if there's a story that you want us to cover. But for now, remember to subscribe so that you can keep up with all our newest episodes. And we gotta go. So goodbye now.
Bye.
Bye.
Deuces.
We will have a new part of Haiti next month. That'll be next month's deep dive. We'll just continue on forever.
I don't know why you sang Haiti like that. It sounded like Donald Trump to me. Can you do it again?
I don't remember how I said it.
Haiti.
Oh, I don't
And
want to
that
be
was
like
wrong.
him.
No, I'm gonna need you to play it back because I didn't.
Oh,
I heard it.
anyway. Okay, well, goodbye now before I sound like Donald Trump again.
I love
Like,
you.
who's
I
your
still love
favorite?
you. I still love you. Bye.
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 Bye.